this shit's still bigger than your shit, nephew. I ain't gonna lie to you. You must be looking from the wrong angle, nephew. On the hood, these motherfuckers still go crazy. You still got a couple more years, nigga, in the. You know what I mean? Nephew think he could get up on his hump. Nigga, stop playing. Fuck is he talking about, nigga? 111th Street, NHS. Hood 60s #1. You know the truth, all sides. Hood, the outlaw. Shout out Jay Outlaw, cuz a real community activist, nigga. Dead homies, a real one. They don't give it up for the skinny niggas though. Hey, shut up, Rad. On the dead homies, cuz this shit coming back together, cuz. Keep running into your mama feet. I keep telling you to come this way, clean bud. Man, this shit's still bigger than your shit, nephew. I ain't gonna lie to you. You must be looking from the wrong angle, nephew. On the hood, these motherfuckers still go crazy. You still got a couple more years, nigga, in the. You know what I mean? Nephew think he could get up on his hump. Nigga, stop playing. Fuck is he talking about, nigga? 111th Street, NHS. Hood 60s #1. You know the truth, all sides. Hood, the outlaw. Shout out Jay Outlaw, cuz a real community activist, nigga. Dead homies, a real one. They don't give it up for the skinny niggas though. Hey, shut up, Rad. On the dead homies, cuz this shit coming back together, cuz. Keep running into your mama feet. I keep telling you to come this way, clean bud. Man, this shit's still bigger than your shit, nephew. I ain't gonna lie to you. You must be looking from the wrong angle, nephew. On the hood, these motherfuckers still go crazy. You still got a couple more years, nigga, in the. You know what I mean? Nephew think he could get up on his hump. Nigga, stop playing. Fuck is.
I'm chilling, getting old, watching all this stupidity on the internet. I've never seen so much gangbanging from dudes in my whole entire life. I'm sorry. In my life, where people are just telling on themselves on the internet. I ain't never seen that before. And I'm talking about my homeboys. All this 6-0 stuff, and gang banging, and all this stuff you putting on the internet. I ain't never seen this before. Ever in my life. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't even be saying none of that. I mean, you know, but I'm gonna be honest too. When y'all go watch it, y'all supporting it. Y'all go promote it, y'all supporting it. Guns, gangs, and all this other stuff. We need to stop all that stuff, man. We gotta grow up eventually. At some time, we gotta grow up. The culture gotta grow up. And y'all gotta start expecting more from older dudes. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta start expecting more. If somebody at a certain age, you need to expect more from them. You know what I mean? You going on there, you looking and listening to buffoonery. That ain't cool. But y'all giving these dudes these numbers, and then they putting up fake numbers. If you're an old dude, you need to be concentrating on building cars. You need to concentrate on helping kids. You know what I mean? If you once or twice go on there and say, you know, where you came from, and okay, that's cool. But living on the internet, I just seen all kind of stuff, man. How do you go on here? Y'all, it's crazy. They ain't gonna get me doing that. And you know another thing I gotta say? I hate when people come up to me and say, I seen your YouTube, or your YouTube. What YouTube? Y'all ain't see me doing no buffoonery on the YouTube. Y'all got all these people going on there quoting stuff and putting up pages talking about I responded to this. I know how to talk. I'm not responding to no ignorance. I'm not doing that. I ain't done that in a long time. So I'm not doing that. You can't really knock these young kids that's out here because they still in their ignorance. I'm chilling, getting old, watching all this stupidity on the internet. I've never seen so much gang banging from dudes in my whole entire life.
Now, let's break down what this consists of. Now, in this whole investigation, you see mainly the people that are involved that you see the most in these situations is Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, and Big U. But something very interesting has taken place. Something very interesting. And we're just getting started right now. I just wanted you to hear their words first, but we're going to get started right now. Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. When I said we're going to get started, that was based on the consensus of what's happening now in development. In development, you're looking at a situation where things are going left when they should have went right. Translation, people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what they say they're doing, or how they are moving amongst the people out there. So while all these things are happening, you're faced with a lot of discomfort, a lot of things that's not registering within the mindset of the other people that are in the game today. And because it was said on certain platforms, these conversations, when you interview these people, and people like Adam 22, who like to have gangsters and active criminals, doing crimes. So you got active criminals doing crime. You have all of these things materializing right in front of your face, and you haven't done anything about them. That's very telling. It's alarming. And the fact that that's happened in such frequency is alarming for anybody who wants to move forward and doing business with people like that. So you're very stunned. You're very shocked by a lot of the accusations that's been brought up. Now, here is something that you need to see. Adam 22, whose platform was one of the platforms that was used, his business partner and collaborator, DJ Vlad, who basically worked with Adam 22, where he got his start and basically became his own DJ Vlad. They often share the same guests and basically just made another channel doing the same exact thing, interviewing dangerous people, mostly Black, who've done crimes and committed crimes and do these sketchy things. And he associates himself with them and puts their work out on the streets and say, this is what I want done and how we're going to do it. But when you deal with active gang members, you're asking for profit.
See a lot of people saying that 22 is the reason why Brick got caught up. Fuck out of here. 22, you know what I do? I put people in position, put them on the podcast, give them jobs, help them make legal money. A lot of the shit that people are getting caught up for is shit, especially with Brick. It's like, I'm not seeing anything that says anything about stuff that he's done in the last 2 years since he's been fucking with us, right? So, you know, end of the day, I do employ people from the streets. And I guess, you know, people from the streets sometimes get caught up in federal RICO indictments, whatever the fuck this shit is. And all I can say is that, yes, I may crack a joke here and there. I'm sorry, that's just my sick sense of humor. But end of the day, that's my boy. I'm standing with him. Loose, I got love for Loose too. We're going to be documenting this whole thing, helping him along the way, whatever it is. So anybody acting like this is because of No Jumper? No, No Jumper was the antidote to this bullshit.
Well, if No Jumper was the antidote, what's actually happening in the scenarios is quite different. The scenarios that are playing out is saying and telling a different story. In the actual case files, they highlight on the No Jumper show, they admit to criminal activity and committing the crime on your platform, and included DJ Vlad's platform also. And no one's saying Adam 22 is in trouble, but it's not a good look when your clients or the people who are supposed to be your clients are in a said situation where they're being shook down. It's bad. You could say Apple Maps bad or whatever, but it's bad when that's the narrative that's out there. Seemingly been out there for a while. Now, because of all the things that they're saying about, hey, he's going to be testifying, he's going to be telling on people, you know, that's going to be the case with No Jumper. He was really confident till that paperwork came out. And now he realizes he might get called into...
Cooperator, that I'm a witness.
Yeah, he might get called in for questions, that they might put him on the stand to ask him questions because he's right there while they're testifying. Well, they're not testifying, they're doing and conducting the interview on his show. And they said, you were there when he had this conversation. We see it on your show. And it's very vital information because they admit to doing a lot of things, Brick Baby and Loose Cannon, that ended up, Big U ended up sending a cease and desist to Vlad and No Jumper to have these segments removed from both of their platforms. Now, Adam realizes he might have to testify. Probably talk to his lawyer and saying, hey, they could subpoena you to come in and testify to what's actually happened in the video, just for confirmation.
I just saw a video where a certain somebody said that they think that I'm a cooperator, that I'm a witness in this whole indictment. I just want to clarify. If the feds hit me up, I'm going to sit with the feds. I'm going to have a conversation with them. Want to know why? Because I don't know shit. Like, number one, what the hell do I know about Big U? I barely spent time around Big U. I interviewed him. That's about it. As far as Brick Baby, we've had conversations and shit, but would I be able to be privy to any of the crazy stuff that they might eventually accuse him of? No, not at all. Brick Baby never told me about nothing of any significance in terms of any kind of street shit. You know, he's told me about stuff, but not like anything that really would move the needle. I wouldn't be able to say that I witnessed anything really illegal of any interest, even if I did have the feds breathing down my neck. Loose Cannon, like, what the fuck do I know about Loose Cannon? The only shit I seen is the shit that everybody else seen on video. So I just want to throw that out there that, me telling, I have not had a conversation with a Fed, a cop about any gang shit, street shit, anything involving Crips. I never had a cop say the fucking word Crip to me ever in my whole life. So I just want to make that perfectly clear. You can count on Big 22.
So, once again, do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. Now, other celebrities might get called in. You might get Meek Mill, Rick Ross, to testify as to what happened when threats of taking Meek Mill's life was on the table. They wanted $50,000 or they was going to take Meek Mill's life. And Rick Ross had to come up with that $50,000. And they say he paid the money. Allegedly paying the money to Big U. And the people that administered the threat never got their cut of the money. And this is allegedly being discussed as, information has been kind of redacted by saying, the way they said it, a popular rapper with the initials RR and another one with the initials MM, which everybody in the public puts with Rick Ross and Meek Mill, because Rowdy Rich, I don't think that's happening. And it wouldn't go with the MM. I'm like, who is that? Roddy Rich and Marshall Mathers? No. Nobody was going to extort Eminem. The last man that tried ended up shot and put in jail. So, it's a large sequence. A large sequence of lies that's being told out here. A lot of people moving in different ways. But the content suggests that there's a lot of other artists out here and a lot of people like Shaquille O'Neal who is telling the feds or his lawyers are saying Shaquille O'Neal doesn't want his name mentioned. Then Adrian Broner's name came up. He could be called in a subpoena to come in and talk about what happened in the dice game. And the incident there is a form of extortion. Only to try to verify the stories that they've heard to give it validation for their case against Big U. These witnesses can be called in and subpoenaed if they don't want to come. Now, once again, why are you seeing all of this activity? Like they just picked up Yellow Breezy. Fabio Foreign, I believe, just got arrested. They're arresting a lot of these rappers. The feds are closing in and taking down a lot of crews and rappers. And the reason why is because of the change in command. That's why the Young Thug case had to be pretty much wrapped up as quickly as it was. Because with Trump administration coming in and they're making the changes in the federal government, like they're cutting jobs, they're saying, what you working on? bringing here or we cutting jobs. We don't deem that important. They've let go a lot of federal agents, some that was working important cases, some that were working very important cases. Those cases have been removed, those files, a lot of them, other agents had to take over the case. And a lot of them who have open cases or a pending case where there's an arrest, it protects their job. You can't fire them. They're working an open case. Can't say they don't have grounds when they're all working as open cases. So when the federal government come and get you, you can't fire them, so they had an open investigational case that led to an arrest, not just doing surveillance. They actually got people on tape. It's actually going down. Now we're gonna get to the big puzzle that everybody pretty much figured out is the suspicion of Brick Baby telling. Now, according to the information that they had, Brick Baby was arrested in 2023. He was on No Jumper telling everybody that they let him go and gave him some type of agreement to let go, where that wasn't the case. If you see from the actual file that you could pull up, he was not given anything that he said. He's been lying since 2023. This reminds you of Jackie Brown when Chris Tucker character was over there. Samuel Jackson came to get him. Like, how old is that machine gun case, man? Like 2-3 years, man. They talking about giving me some serious time. Man, they ain't got time. They ain't got room in the jail for these people. Now, how they don't make room for you? That ain't what they telling me. So, looks like he was out gathering information and working, knowing that a case was being built against Big U. But it's also being built on him also. And he's being charged seemingly only because of his connection to it, but will be working with the prosecutor, as he will probably most likely take a deal that he probably already agreed to do while he was out. But it's only so much like he could get because him and Big U wasn't around each other. They had already fallen out pretty much before that time. So any transactions, any communications, dude could have been wearing a wire sometimes. You just have no idea when they are cooperating and when they get cases and don't tell nobody and they lie. Why would you lie to the people? Like, it's going to come out. So you're going to have to explain why you lied. And if you do testify, what's that going to do for you if you do come home? You ain't going to want to come home. You don't live in an area where that's pretty much fully accepted. And, to be on this internet, man, it's just crazy. Dude openly got sticks on him, and I'm just like, okay. Dude openly got a stick on him, sitting there on the No Jumper podcast show. It just don't make any sense. It's like none of it do. I don't think hardly any of these guys are thinking when they making these moves. They just do things. And then Big U talk about, I don't even have a YouTube. Well, you got a mouth and you go on Instagram or whatever, and you said a bunch of questionable, dumb things in those short videos you made. The biggest mistake you made was saying you was innocent on everything except the murder. You never even mentioned the murder, like you wasn't even charged for it. Now, I mean, that would be the first thing I mentioned. I'll be murdered. Murdered who? I ain't murdered nobody, but you did not say you didn't murder anybody. And believe me, those videos will be played in court. They was like, on your way to turn yourself in, you made these videos. That is you, right, Big U? Or Eugene? Yes. Notice he did not say he did not commit the murder. He said no to everything else that we can charge him with, but he never mentions the murder. And that's the biggest charge. But he never mentions it. That's because deep down he knows he's guilty. You see how they flipped that? I just flipped that. So what you think they're gonna do? They paid to do it. You're not mentioning it is a form of guilt for them. So you got to start piecing this thing together and starting to see that the avenues in this case are vast. Because even though the DNA, everybody think DNA is a lot, that's not a lot. There's a lot of contamination there. There's a lot of DNA that it could have happened because they met each other earlier or something in the day. But apparently, he gave statements that he hadn't seen him in months. So the DNA evidence that they would have would be inconclusive. Well, I mean, it would be like, well, how did he get your DNA in if he ain't seen you in months? And his excuse is he was in the gym all night. And people was like, man, he was drenched when they saw him. And then he was like, oh, I was in the gym all day. That's where I spent all my time. I was just in the gym all day and night. And they was like, well, they'll go pull that footage up. But they don't, I guess they don't really understand how these things work. If you were going to do something like that, intelligence would have to be used in this situation. And it wasn't used in this situation at all. There was no intelligence used in the situation. They actually said that his phone was pinging on the tower that's close to Las Vegas, right on the path, on the route that goes from Vegas to LA. And then it disappears. Then a couple hours later, it's pinging again on the tower. So I'm like it's like he cut his phone off and then cut it back on. I'm like, if you're gonna do something like that, you don't even got your phone with you. You got your phone somewhere else, you know, and you got other people making calls or texts from that phone. You know, like you got one of the shorties or one of the homies doing texts and stuff from that phone during that time to make it appear that, you know, you over there or what have you. So all of these things taking place and transpiring, and no one is saying anything or putting this together. They're saying that was going to happen. That was a dumb idea. And if he did do it, right? Because the person he allegedly took with him, the guy they're accusing, the Sylvester guy, doesn't really have any priors on a criminal history. Like, he's not like one of the guys that really is, got a lot of arrests. I'm not saying he hasn't done anything, but he seems like somebody that is not plugged with this type of activity. And to do something like that in front of somebody who hasn't, done any of the hard stuff is baffling, to say the least. And then to do that to somebody that close to you, to where this person has spent the night at your house, and it's details anger and a lack of intelligence. And it's like, dude, why are you doing this yourself if that's the case? And is what he did so disrespectful or enough to do all of this? Because if so, then, they're going to look at you as a monster. That's it. That's how he'll be viewed. Now, society will tell you a whole nother thing, though. Society will be like, oh, no, he good. Man, he a good dude, man. He a good brother. And I say, hey, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Don't know this dude. I just knew to stay away. Now, as the world turns, situations don't get any different or any more estranged than they already are. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Some people finna do some hard time. There is no simple situation here, but if a plea bargain is offered, they better think about that real quick. So why they doing these sweeps? To basically save all their jobs. The federal government, they not playing. Easy ain't getting away. Brick Baby already know he got to do some time. But, if you're an informant and you found out to be an informant and telling, your life on the inside ain't gonna be too good for you, especially if you talk. Now, another thing that I found to be very unsettling is that, it appears that Big U, he don't have his finances together. He ain't got his money right. And nothing was ever more telling than when you saw the situations play out the way it did in said scenario. It was never more telling than he was in that video begging for people to come help. Now, he's got a son, I believe, that's going to the NFL. I don't know what else he got going on, but that more than certainly would be like, what are you doing this for? If he was getting $1 million grant from the state to conduct the programs, right? If the state's giving him $1 million and everything around him. You know, he's doing all of this. Why is everybody tripping now? Like, why are you tripping now? Like, what is you doing with the money? You shaking all these people down for donations, getting 100,000 here from this guy, 100,000 from that guy. Then you shaking these other people down for all this money, and it's just not making any sense. Where did the money go? So it's a lot of dumb stuff that he said himself on tape that they're going to be playing in court. Now, you can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the gang life. If you're going to be out, you got to be all the way out. You can't have 1 foot in talking about you gang and you this and that, and you sitting over here, you know, not abiding by the rules of gang. Everybody want to be gang, but don't want to follow the laws. Gangs had laws. All of them had laws. But y'all want to be gang without the rules. Then it's anarchy. Then you just turn into just basic savages in the streets. Well, they'll work it out. Because at the end of the day, all this telling and Brick Baby cooperating, that's only going to invoke more people to come in with more knowledge to the situation that's going to have it even more corrupt. But right now, that paperwork is crazy. But yeah, I seen it. It's just too much. It's too dense to go through. I ain't got all them hours to sit here and go through all that paperwork again. So, do I see a way they can get away? No, I don't. It's not even about innocent and guilt now. To me, it's about how much time they finna get slammed with. Well, they say loose lips sink ships. But Loose was doing too much talking on this internet, right along with Brick Baby. Now, the feds interviewed them back in March. And this was like about a year ago, or whatever, they got brought in. And things didn't change one bit. Not one iota. So, it is what it is. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Don't forget to join my Patreon, which is Carcino for Life. We're going to have some more information over there. There we could be a little bit more uncut. Don't have to be so politically correct. But as you can see, it's crazy out here. So I'm out.
We gonna party like it's your birthday.
Council meeting after accusing Ukraine of carrying out a terror attack that severely damaged that bridge.